I was a junior in high school when this story took place. It was summer vacation, and my summer job was a babysitter. I was babysitting for a new family that reached out to me by referral one night. I was babysitting for their son, Daniel. Daniel was great. He was 4 years old and very well behaved. We watched TV and colored in coloring books before he went to bed around 9 p.m. It was a normal babysitting experience. But the next morning, when I was home, I got a very strange phone call from Daniel's parents. They were calling and asking me about how last night went. I told them everything went fine. Why do you ask? Daniel's mother began to explain that Daniel told them that I was standing outside his room all night long, smiling and waving at him. And what was even stranger, his mother continued, was that I was speaking in a different language. I was extremely confused by what Daniel's mother was explaining. I know kids have wild imaginations and all, but at no point in the night did I stand outside his door and wave at him. I tried to explain this to his mother, but she simply did not believe me and thought that I had a weird babysitting style. She ultimately told me that they would not need me anymore and would be looking for a replacement. I was bummed out by this, but also extremely creeped out, because I know that I did not do what Daniel's mother accused me of. That means there are only two things that could have happened. One, Daniel was just having wild imaginations and imagined seeing me waving at him and speaking another language. Or two, there actually was someone standing at his door, smiling, waving, and speaking another language. I shudder at the second option and pray that the kid just has a crazy imagination. I was babysitting my next-door neighbor, Claire, one Friday night. She was an adorable 6-year-old who loved drawing. Claire's parents were out of town for the weekend, so I was spending the night there with her. I helped Claire with her homework. We watched funny YouTube videos and we drew pictures all night long. It was getting late, and I could tell Claire was getting sleepy, and told her that we should start getting ready for bed. Claire protested, then said she wanted to finish her drawing first. I agreed and waited until she was done. When she finished, she brought the drawing over to me and showed me the picture. I could not quite tell what her drawing was, so I politely asked her what she drew. What she said caught me off guard. Claire said the drawing was of the witch who floats above her bed every night. Now, as silly as this sounded, a chill did run down my back. I asked Claire if these were dreams that she was having. Claire shook her head, then said no. She said that the witch appears every night, usually when everyone's asleep. I tried to remain calm. I mean, she was only 6 years old, and young kids' imaginations can be wild at times. I asked Claire if she was a good witch. This is where I started to get a bit paranoid. Claire did not answer my question and just drew a big X on the picture. I eventually put Claire down to sleep in her bed. I double-checked the closets and the ceiling just to be sure, and yep, no witches. When I was done, I went back downstairs to put on a serial killer documentary until I fell asleep. Around 3 in the morning, I woke up to noises upstairs, almost like someone was walking around. I figured it could be Claire, just walking to the bathroom. That was until I heard a cackling laugh. A laugh that was sinister and most definitely could not come from a child. My heart pounded, but I was the adult here and needed to go make sure that Claire was okay. I sprinted up the stairs and burst into Claire's room. The room was normal, empty of anyone who could have possibly made that cackling laugh. But what was odd Claire was sitting upright at the edge of her bed, fully awake. I asked Claire if something happened. Her response gave me goosebumps. Claire said that she was talking to the witch. She's here right now, and pointed to the ceiling. I could not see anything, and quite frankly was horrified. I definitely heard a real cackling laugh, but there was no one else in the room. I checked the closet, under the bed, in the bathrooms, and every upstairs room. No one else was up here. I was visibly shaken, but Claire was still happy and cheerful. She did not seem to be bothered or concerned about the situation. I looked one more time at the ceiling, but nothing was there. The little sleep that I did get was terrible that night, and the next morning, I had to hand in my resignation with the family. I do not believe in the supernatural or witches and stuff like that, but something is definitely happening inside that house, and I am not going to be a part of whatever it is. I was the neighborhood babysitter. I did not mind it at all, because the pay helped me greatly all through high school, and I was never broke. I was babysitting the Doyles when this story takes place. I was babysitting their two young boys, Chase and Caden. Chase and Caden loved to have campfires in their backyard. It was a summer night, and we decided that we would roast marshmallows and tell creepy ghost stories by the fire. We had a blast. We told urban legends, creepy neighborhood tales, and a few ghost stories that we read off the internet. We were having a good time, all sitting around the fire in their backyard, when I noticed that Caden had been staring blankly for a few minutes at the house. I asked him if he was okay, and if the stories were too scary. Caden said that he was fine, but what he was staring at was the man who was inside his room. This sent chills down my spine. I looked at the back of the house and saw the top room light flick from on to off. No one was supposed to be inside the house. I was babysitting them, and their parents were gone for at least another 3 hours. I told the boys to follow me. We left the backyard and headed back to my place, which was only a few houses up. I called the police, and 30 minutes later, they had apprehended someone from the Doyle's house. They had him in handcuffs and in the back of a police car. The lead officer explained to me that they had found the man in the boys' closet hiding with a knife. It was unclear if the man was there for the boys, or for me, or for whatever reason. But either way, he was a psycho hiding in a closet with a knife. I am so grateful that Caden had seen the man when he did, because we would have eventually all went back inside. I would have put the boys to bed, not knowing there was a maniac in their closet who would have done only God knows what.